Probably not the best time to be making this video. I've been away from New Jersey for like almost a week, and I was planning on recording yesterday. Like, well, why am I in Virginia? You know, things got bad to the point where my heart was beating out of my chest, and I couldn't feel my extremities, like my hands down to my fingers and my toes. I thought I was gonna pass out. It was like a not even a panic attack. It was almost like a heart attack. And it happened just like that when I was tuning my acoustic guitar, my Ibanez, I call it Search for Melody, and it was a telepathic, quantum clair knowing, clair sensing. This individual, it was an obese white male. It got my mind, and I started experiencing in my mind like a vision, in my mind like imagination, and later somebody told me he just doesn't like. He said or somebody said that the guitar is cursed because he doesn't like the fact that I named it. I don't know what that means. Cursed, it's really not cursed. I was thinking about something. I guess I communicate with some people, and all of a sudden, it was like it was made for me to happen. And it happened multiple times actually. It was that night, that day. I remember it was a morning. The night I believe it was him. Then the morning I don't know if it was him. People said it was PD, which means police department. I don't really know. It could be anyone. It could be anyone. But there is a conspiracy against my life, and it was made for me. Individuals mentally told me, just leave the house, don't come back. Like, leave, If you keep walking, nothing will happen, When the first started happening, I started walking, but I needed to massage because I felt like it was getting worse and worse. And I think I walked for like an hour, back and forth. I came back in the house, and I had these greens, like undergarments, and sneakers. I don't think I could even have a chance to tie it up. I was so scared. I thought I was gonna pass out and die. And I remember that day I actually ran. I felt good. I came back inside and it started happening again. 2 days later, I believe I went to the hospital in Rolway, and I checked and I went to get just to a checkup, see what's going on. And I told the doctor about that. I shouldn't have said anything about telepathy, quantum, clairvoyant. The guy was just like, it's so obvious, like, oh, you hear voices, or you hear voices right now. And I was like, yeah, they're actually communicating, like someone's communicating with me right now. It happens all the time. And he was just very dismissive, he was lying. And then when he wrote down the paperwork that I had muscle soreness. I had muscle soreness, like, like forearms, little biceps, but I never said one thing about that. He didn't say anything about, my heart rate being elevated, my pulse, nothing. I looked up to the paperwork, everything seemed normal. And before I went in there, individuals mentally told me, telepathic quantum, whatever you call it, the results be inconclusive. That's pretty much what it was, but it wasn't even conclusive. It was a lie. Based on my soreness I experienced, anything like that, I'm not going to talk about the hospital. I went in there and I was thirsty, dehydrated. I was thirsty. I was walking. I walked to the hospital, must have been like a mile. Stressed, frustrated. Multiple times I asked for water. Like, yeah, we're gonna give you some water. I was in the waiting room, there was no water there, emergency room. I mean, to people, it's the norm, but it's a way to keep you dehydrated, thirsty, keep you frustrated, make you feel hurt. Actually, you're experiencing like some kind of trauma or like, frustration, it's not good. Water relieves it. They're not in the United States of America, especially that hospital, RWJ Barnes, it's not business to do that to relieve anything, Half an hour passed, I got a bed before the doctors saw me, and one of their assistants got me water. I think they got me like a bottle of water, and they charged it to insurance, It must have been like half an hour, a really long time, like a little cup of water, half filled actually, That's what they did over there. So that was like over a week ago, close to like 2 weeks ago or something. But I experienced multiple times in my day. I came back, living, in my apartment, and individuals, they were mentally telling me you're gonna get your fucking teeth knocked the fuck out. And it was like, and the thing was, the whole week I just, I went in the kitchen and I couldn't feel anxiety, and I was tormented and shocked and in fear. I played a surface area. I took the ukulele and I made some money, and I was just thinking about leaving. But I came back that night. I didn't end up leaving and just leaving, and I remember it was some guy, I don't know, he was like, he was like, oh, I'm PD, like he's police or something like that. And he started mentally haunting me to the point I got so weak actually. When I woke up in the morning, I was anxious. I just had to get up. I packed like minimal things. I went to the service area. It was in, a place Carteret, New Jersey, not too far. And I remember like, I almost like I was gonna pass out, have a heart attack because I started playing. And it wasn't because of my body. It was because I was playing and I was playing kind of decent, but I couldn't even warm up. And it just told me because people see me and they know that I'm not evil, I'm not hurting anybody, I was kind, I was just, having fun. And individuals, it's like they pushed me off the bike, and it was one male actually. He put, he put images in my mind, like there was being an ambulance, and the whole time telling me, oh, there's be an ambulance gonna lift you out of here, to the hospital if you keep staying here. And it was the fear, and almost like, I was like, I couldn't even like move and stuff like that. I actually raised my head, started, massaging. I was like, I was starting thinking, am I gonna fucking pass out over here and die or a heart attack? So I walked away, and I had some belongings. I'm gonna keep going. I can't go back to place where I live. And it was like, it wasn't just those two events. It was multiple times. It happened for weeks. Just individuals, they wanted me to leave. I can't prove it. I don't have, anything recorded, anything like that. Even if I did, I would upload it, but I just wouldn't care. But the reason why I'm in Virginia is because those fucking people. And yeah, I have emotional distress. I think I'm depressed, Serenity, when she was taken away, it started happening actually. It took a little bit longer. I don't know why. Like I see certain places where memories flash back, and a lot of people just perpetuate memories and they instigate a lot of a lot of sorrow inside me, and they just they have no respect. They violate boundaries wherever you people are. I mean, I don't know if they're watching YouTube, but they're experiencing it right now as I talk. That's the freaky part of it. There's no privacy actually. I came from Waffle House. Waffle House. This individual said she thought I had a crack pipe. I showed my tobacco. I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't care about that. And that was stretched. She's like, I know what you're doing with that. And then she insinuated that they called the police on me, the cops, she said, and that the manager cops kicked me out multiple times. She said I got kicked out. Like, that didn't even happen. Like, there was no, like, Waffle House was one of the places I go here that was actually a safe place. I communicate with people. There was nothing like that, So that, it's my life. I'm being persecuted and oppressed, actually. Really am. By individuals, I don't know what, her name is Cheyenne. I don't know who those people, they say they're PD or something like, even the obese guy that doesn't doesn't want me to tune my guitar, I don't, there's a whole different conspiracy, and I think it leads me to be here, whatever it will be. It is on my YouTube, I said before, and people told me mentally, telepathically, you shouldn't say anything but they say because they co-win with you and now they're gonna haunt you for life. Actually, I got multiple people that say they're gonna haunt me for life. They're stuck in my personal thoughts, But it's a reality. I don't say how to do it. It's like neuron science, to make you feel like you're having a heart attack or like anxiety attack. Actually, I experienced it multiple times, and then it's when they just walk because they don't like walking. Or do something physical. And I'm like, so I'm gonna walk for like 24 hours. Then I gotta sit down, lay down, and it's like what? Well, it's like they tell you something else they don't like, So I'm Virginia, and yeah, this is it's Sunday right now. I've been here since Tuesday, I believe, something like that. And yeah, I'm trying to go south. Trying to go south to Florida to warmer weather like I wanted originally from a while back, even like in August. It's odd, but when I found Serenity, it was in August, and I was like, I took Serenity in, the kitten, and I had like over $1,000, and I was thinking about going to Florida or something like that. And I was like, well, it's like, could this be it? It's like, I'm not saying it's like a speed bump where I went through, It really wasn't. If I had to do it over again, I would take Serenity again. But back then I was thinking like, is it by a certain reason I found Serenity? Now I'm starting to think maybe I found Serenity not to go to Florida. But honestly, this is something else. It's whatever was said like 20 something years ago or a couple of years ago was recorded by somebody, and I wasn't fully aware what was said. That individual made me practice saying some things, certain things that I might not be right now. It's really, I'm putting it lightly actually. I'm not gonna get into that one, but in the last week or so, I was, physically, mentally abused and tormented to the point where I was like, if I stay where I live in Rahway, I was gonna die, and like, there's gonna be a catastrophe, like, police gonna raid my house. And most people told me they're gonna find you and they're gonna fucking, break your face open or something like that. You know, that's what they told me, mentally. So I think it's, you know, I think that those people purposely made me to leave my home. I believe so. You know, I would like to be back in Norway, but it's too much emotional, and if I go back to right now, who knows if they're gonna start doing that again. And by the way, this happens multiple times. Today, it was like last night I actually experienced something. I was feeling weak, and it wasn't me. You know, so maybe it's a different kind of individuals. But yeah, I'm here in Virginia, and you know, I was gonna say I'm gonna might go to like South Carolina, which is like, you know, Cynthia's family originally come from South Carolina. She lives in Virginia, which is odd. You know how I might have went to South Carolina. I originally wanted to go to Florida, maybe Georgia, but you know, just putting it out there. And this is this is where I'm at today.